METRAC was created in 1982 after women's pressure around crimes of violence against women. At that time, violence against women was invisible. There were euphemisms used, like domestic squabble for wife assault. In cases of sexual assault, men got carried away. So there was a profound misunderstanding about how underreported sexual assault was. There was not a gender analysis of sexual violence and violence against women, and so each act of violence, if it was looked at all, was looked at as an isolated incident.
And so we held hearings, we went around the city, we talked to women, we involved police officers, we involved community leaders, etc. And through that back and forth, something really substantial, a committee that would make recommendations to the City of Toronto as to what could or should be done, was formulated, the Metro Action Committee on Violence Against Women and Children.
It made a series of broad sweeping recommendations on urban design and criminal justice and policing and education and support services. And METRAC was established to implement all these far-reaching recommendations.
It was important to work with the Metropolitan Toronto Police, as they were called at the time.
There was limited access to justice for a number of reasons. And so METRAC undertook the first training of the police force
to ensure that they knew what to ask, how to behave towards those women, how to understand the situation of women and children as they reported. And it was also important to look at the judicial system.
So I started off with newspaper clippings because it was pre the days of internet, and over a number of years set up a sentencing database. And with that, I was able to present the information and show and demonstrate how much judicial education was needed, how the judges were violating the charter rights of those who had been victimized by not providing equal benefit and protection of the law because they didn't understand.
And I was invited to chair an OECD conference in Paris. And that conference was the first that the OECD ever focused on the issue of women. And METRAC's safety audit, I put that on the table. And METRAC's safety audit was copied all over the world as women began to look at the importance of making the environment safe for all women.
Our mission is to advance safety, justice, and equity for all women. We do that through public education, legal information, safety initiatives, policy reform work, as well as research.
The Community Justice Program has been involved in a number of very significant policy and legislative changes that continue to be the foundation from which we do our work today and look to do our work into the future.
We are there providing clear language information, demystifying the law for women, and supporting them to understand how the system works.
So we do go into the community and we do presentations, we do trainings, we also create a lot of material in a variety of media. What we're trying to do as we move into the future is try to be really smart about using these resources and getting them to as many places as possible.
We work with community members, particularly vulnerable communities at the neighborhood level.
I'm the safety program coordinator. So I train community members, both adults and youth, on how to do the safety audit in their communities. The safety audit is a tool that people can use to assess the safety of their neighborhoods or workplaces or university and college campuses. The METRAC safety audit is really unique in that it really takes people's own perspectives of what safety means. So we come from the aspect that everyone's an expert of their own sense of safety. And so that means we really talk to people who actually use a space. So if they live there, if they work there, if they go to school in the area or have any community services in the area that they use. And we talk to them about how do they feel in those areas? Do they feel safe? What are some of the issues that they face in the areas that might make them feel unsafe?
And then of course we've got our youth program. It's a peer-based program. Very courageous and bright, smart young people who lead that program. They go into schools and engage them in different ways that they can get involved in their communities to prevent the issue of violence against women and girls, as well as to talk about common problems that impact youth and the kind of pressures that young women have around issues of violence in their relationships.
It's always a positive vibe here. And it teaches really good skills because we get to think of new ideas and bring up topics that we really are interested in and wonder why is this happening? So it's really cool. Yeah, and it's fun.
One of the key areas is how to make METRAC not just accessible, but to make METRAC more visible in the community.
So we'd like to have our own Center for the Prevention of Violence because I believe that as long as the issue of violence against women exists, we must have a space to address that and to support women and to keep that issue on everyone's radar. We can demonstrate to the world what it means to care and to believe in equity and to really value the life of communities of women.
For women who are facing abuse and violence, if they don't know how to connect and where to connect, then it becomes difficult. That visibility then provides a new space and a new ability to access those services.
It's an issue that's impacted my own life and many of the lives of the people that I know. And it's really important that this work continues, and it's not just for women, but all people in the community, that everyone should be able to live their lives how they would like and without fear, and that they can actually actively participate in their communities.
We've made some progress across the country. We've seen stalking legislation, and we've seen legislation that would protect women, etc. So we've made some progress, but the discussion continues and the issue of violence against women continues.